Welcome
everyone.
to the hall.
A mess. It's
the
messy.
messy one.
It's the mess hall.
I'm one of your hosts,
and
Jamie
I'm
Rowan.
the other one, Andrew Youngblood.
Look at us, back at it again.
I've always wondered what it'd be like to have a penis.
I've always wondered what it'd be like to have no tits.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, I thought that was good. How you been? What's going on?
So it's the holidays. So,
How was Thanksgiving?
I avoided my family successfully. I always wonder,
Always?
like, should I talk about my life, or pretend that I'm down to earth? But yeah, we go to Mexico. I went to Mexico. It was amazing, and traveled on Thanksgiving, and
What
that was
part?
amazing. Got high and got a massage. I highly recommend that. Yeah, we went to Tulum, which is like also kind of douchey, but
It is a little douchey.
It's a
Cancun sucks.
Cancun sucks, but Tulum is
Just slightly further away, Cancun.
it's not like big resorts and shit. It's like boutique-y kind of hipster douchebags. And on Thanksgiving, the beautiful thing is like all of the bachelor and bachelorette parties aren't there, right? Because it's Thanksgiving.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like kind of quiet and kind of really nice. And like as you get older, this is so not fun, but like life just gets harder. And so it's just nice to like get high and lay around.
That sounds nice.
It was really nice.
That sounds nice. Ben, can you do me a favor?
Sure.
Can you run in here and flip that switch to the track light? It's blinding me.
I got you.
And we'll just keep talking.
Also, yeah, do we look pasty even with
It's
my
this,
nice?
It's this track light. We never have it on.
Yeah, it is blinding me too. Actually,
like,
I have those little dots in my eyes when I blink.
Look at that. And look, I think we look better now.
we
too.
do look better.
Ooh. Yeah.
Although you still can't tell that I got a tan.
Well, I can a little bit.
A little
It
bit?
looked tan. It looked like a fake tan, but that's just your personality.
I would never do a fake tan. I go fake baking still. Like
Fake bake. Is
You
that
know, like
that's
back
when
in
you
the
just lay
day?
in the thing?
Yeah, in high school, was that a thing men did too?
No, but I remember all the girls having the little Playboy
bunny
thing like
yeah.
right there.
Yeah, you could get this Playboy bunny
Those
sticker
were
right
different
here.
times
It was
then,
like
dude.
always like the lower, so kind of because you wore low rise jeans back
Yeah,
then, and you
see,
could always
that's the
see a
thing.
little bit.
Is I think because of like that was my youth, you know, and my first boners and things like that were happening, and
You still kind of like the Carmen Electra look.
there's a little bit of like you throw a little Playboy bunny tan thing and a low rise, maybe a little sneak peek of a whale tail. I don't know. It still kind of does it for me a little bit.
Well, that like vintage stuff is coming back in style, so maybe you'll see girls that are.
Well, because I got to say, I don't like, and listen, I want to throw it out there. I think wear whatever is comfortable for you. And my opinion does not matter. Right. But, I don't love a high mom jean. I'm just saying, like, I like seeing a little belly button.
Just say what you want to say. Don't caveat it. It's okay.
I'm not.
Anybody
listen.
cool isn't going to get anybody. You could just speak freely.
I am speaking freely, and everything I'm saying is truth. People can wear whatever they want. Good for them. I might not agree or like it.
Doesn't even have to be agree or disagree.
But
just
yes,
preference.
I do
It's just
like
preference.
a low-rise shitty jean sometime. Give me a low-rise jean and a little whale tail. And
Are you kind of a malnourished dude with like stringy hair? Then I like that. You could be whatever you want to be, but it's just preference. We like what we like. You could say it.
Well, that's not all I like. I also like I like a lot of stuff.
What about this?
I'm an
Andrew?
eclectic man. Whoa, look at that.
Hey,
I don't love that.
2004.
I don't love that. That's a little. She's like sagging her pants there. I just want a little imagination whale tail. That was too much. That was like high on her back. It felt like, I don't know.
Ladies,
Send in your whale tails.
send in your pictures of you with your whale tails.
No,
By the way, what a terrible name for it.
a whale tail.
Mhm.
Yeah, it does kind of a little
It's not-
demeaning,
it's
almost
not
like
hot.
a fat joke a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was whale tail even on a skinny girl.
Yeah, there was.
But there's skinny whales.
By the way, everybody on the beach in Mexico, it's like full ass out now. So go to Mexico. It is you'd enjoy
I went
it.
to Cancun and I saw a lot of fun Hispanic women.
Yeah,
It was a good time.
there's a lot of like really good ass. Is that weird?
Yeah.
To say?
Why?
There was like a
I
lot
like how
of
you're like, is that weird to say right after you go, Andrew, just say what you like. Just say what you, and you're like, there was a lot of great ass there. Am I allowed to say that?
yeah, there's a lot of good things on the beach in Mexico. It's nice to get away from family. But we flew on Thanksgiving. We came back on Thanksgiving Day. Also, fly on Thanksgiving. Nobody's in the airport. It's amazing. Everything's cheaper because nobody flies on
Hey, I
Thanksgiving.
didn't even think about that.
It was the best. And then like love my family, but it was just like a tiny Thanksgiving dinner. We got back just in time for dinner. No crazy people talking about politics. It was just nice.
Yeah.
It was perfect. Yeah. What'd you do?
I bought food and cooked a little food, and then I had a bunch of people over.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like friends or family?
Family, not it's interesting because my family is such an interesting thing to me because my family has become like my ex's families and stuff like that, like the mother of my child came over, right? Of course. And I invited her mom and her sister over.
What do you mean, of course? That's not that like some people.
Yeah, I guess
actually,
well, we
that's
get
not
along.
typical. That's awesome.
We get along. So and then obviously my son was here. And so, and then I did a little post. So another friend came. I did just a little post like, if anyone needs a place to come
Quick
on
reminder,
down.
you've got two of those.
To what,
You
friends?
said my son was here.
Yeah. Well, one of them was here.
Yeah.
The other one was not. He was with his. See, we're all spread up. And it's,
Yeah, but you got to just be with the people that make. I actually I'd sent myself a voice note. I found a voice note today. Like for some reason, it just like popped up. I don't even know how I got to it, but it was like a video message I had sent myself last year and it popped up on my phone. And it was just me telling me, like, you don't have to, just because it's the holidays, you don't have to spend time with family. That sucks.
Yeah, I get that.
And it was like I was meant to see it right now because I was like, I get kind of bummed about that, but like, yeah, just be with who you want to be with.
Yeah, I get that.
And it was really sweet of you to invite people. Did you have any weirdos though, where you're like,
No,
I invited anyone who wanted to come?
I do that. I do that every time I host a Thanksgiving. I always make that post because I've spent Thanksgiving at a bar alone. I've spent it at a strip club alone. I've spent it in places. I remember me and my friends. We, for a while there was a while where when you have a kid and you're divorced, you get Christmas or Thanksgiving, right? So every other year you're not having them on Thanksgiving, and so when at the time it was my only son, he would be at his mom's for Thanksgiving, and then I'd have nothing to do. And I was like, huh. So I found a group of friends that we often were all alone on Thanksgiving. And we're like, well, let's do stuff together. And then we're like, should we do a Thanksgiving? And then one of us was like, what if we just get drunk and go to a strip club? Because they usually have Thanksgiving dinners there. And we're like,
everyone,
let's
I
do it.
learn new things on this podcast.
One time I remember we went, it was about 3:00. We go to the strip club. No strippers are there yet. The DJ's playing music and they're just waiting for strippers to show up. And there's food over there. There's a whole buffet. We just ate food. We drank. We waited 2.5 hours before a stripper even showed up. And then finally, by then we were like drunk. And we're like, oh, let's get out of here. So,
give like an honest review of strip club buffets because I hear this all the time.
strip
and
club
I'm like, buffets.
Oh,
There's just no way they're good.
if you go to a place like the Gentleman's Club or like a nicer establishment, for sure they're good. But also,
and you're eating in the dark.
Well, it's not the dark. There's lights going on and stuff. It's not too crazy. And then I have been to strip clubs. Me and my buddy, we used to work near each other. And once we realized this, at lunchtime, we were like, oh, let's just go have a steak. Like a lot of strip clubs will have like a steak and beer $20 special at lunchtime. And so we would like just go there and we'd get a beer and a steak and we were drinking. And then they'd be like, hey, buddy, do you want to dance? And I was like, not really. I'm eating a steak.
Except for you did.
No, I didn't.
You get it's a triple special. It's like you get a steak, a beer, and a lap dance.
I'm not a big lap dance guy.
It's just so weird to me to hang out at a strip club. Like it's
I'm
for
with friends.
that.
I don't really go alone. I have been alone, but that's sad.
This is like a thing for you. You realize
No,
that
it's not a
like
thing for me.
Yes, it is. It's a recurring theme. Buttholes, strip clubs.
Buttholes for sure, but the strip clubs, I don't know about that. I think I've been, I'm a guy and I hang out with a bunch of guys and they like going to strip clubs and I'll go with them and usually I'm just like hanging out
And
with
just
my
eat a
friends.
steak.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with
at
that.
noon.
Yeah, it was fine. At the time, it was kind of a joke. We're like, let's do it, and then we're like, it's kind of nice.
It's like, wouldn't it be funny
wrong with-
if
first
we
of all-
did meth together? It's kind of a joke.
No, it's very different. This is nothing wrong with this. I appreciate the human body, so I get to go. You get to eat some food, and you see a beautiful person in the background. What's wrong with that?
I'm not judging. I find it fascinating because it's just so opposite of my experience.
Well, yeah, I think we talked about this. You were all horny and grabbing dicks, and
I've never been to Thunder from Down Under.
okay.
This was a story of other people.
I know.
I've been to more female strip clubs than male strip clubs.
Yeah.
I lost my virginity in Las Vegas after going to Spearmint Rhino.
Because you're all horned up.
No, we'd actually discussed it at breakfast. I think I talked about this
Oh,
Did I
wow.
already
So-
talk about when
No,
I lost my virginity on the
no.
podcast?
But this is crazy because so you were in Vegas.
I was in Las Vegas on a boys trip, but I was like, it was the boys and me. And
And you're like, one of you guys are gonna do this.
no, my best friend. So did you have that friend growing up where you like every time you got drunk, you made out with them, but you never dated because like you knew you weren't like for each other like that?
I had a girl in my 20s where we would make out all the time and we had hooked up a couple times, but we were best friends, right? We're still good friends.
We weren't.
We don't really
me and
keep
this
up.
guy weren't even best friends. Like we didn't even like. We knew we didn't want to date because we didn't like each other like that. Like I thought he was cool, but I was like, I'm kind of attracted to you physically, and like you're kind of cool, and we're friends.
Yeah.
But like we just made out when we were drunk all the time, and I was in college at this time. I was 19, and I was like, I cannot turn 20 and be a virgin. And so we were sitting at breakfast in Las Vegas, and I was like, I trusted him. That's the biggest thing. I trusted him. I'd known him for years and years, and he'd showed up when I needed him for things, and we'd been physical before. So I was like, we're sitting at breakfast in Las Vegas on this boys trip, and I was like, do you want to have sex later? And I think he was surprised, but he was like, yeah. So we'd like planned it before we even went out that night, which isn't romantic. And
Well,
it
is
was
weird that
the
you went to a
worst.
strip club before.
Well, because it was a boys trip. We were there for our friend's birthday, and he
Totally.
wanted to do that.
I get that, but still a little weird, like before you lost your virginity.
Yeah, I guess it
To
is.
be like, all right, well, let's go take you to strip club. We'll get you horned up, and then I'll take care of the rest.
Yeah, but it was so bad. By the way, I love you. If you're out there, you know who you are. I love you, and you're
Todd.
great. But it was so bad. And like they say, you're connected to the person that you lose your virginity to. I mean, like I could not get up fast enough. I was like, okay, cool.
I'm not connected to the person I lost my virginity to.
I didn't like.
My uncle's dead. No, I'm kidding. He is dead, but he didn't do anything. That was a
Did
joke.
he not?
No. Kim. I don't even know her last name.
Yeah, I don't think I should say the name of the person because it's a unique name too. But love you, buddy.
I can't imagine that Kim would ever listen to this or even remember who I am. She was an experienced lady. I met her at a teen skate.
Shit. Was she much older than you?
I mean, like 2 years, I think, at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But, I'm 15, 17. She might have been 16. I don't know.
Okay, but I mean, it
Yeah.
wasn't like she took advantage of you. I just had your
No, no,
uncle
no.
in
No,
my
no.
head now.
Yeah.
You don't really
Yeah.
want to talk about how that was the original.
No, yeah, that was a joke. Comedians,
Comes from real pain.
We were in a swimming pool. Have I told you this? Has this story been out?
Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
No friction.
Horrible.
You fucked in the pool?
And we got caught by her mom. First time.
What the hell?
I didn't have sex again for 2 years.
Did you come?
Nope. This is what happened. I'll run it down. Quick story. So meet at a teen skate, hitting off, holding hands, doing a little.
What's
La-
a teen skate?
Well, it's when all the teens get together and they teen skate at a roller rink. And there's usually, they're playing some R. Kelly and some.
Yeah, no, I've done that. I didn't know
90s
it was
shit.
called a teen
Yeah, it's like
skate.
a teen skate. It'll go to like midnight. Your parents pick you up, kind of shit,
Shout out to the Fun Dome in Utah.
Yeah, Fun Dome. Uh, anyways, had the teen skate, met the girl. She's like, let's hang out. You want to come to my house sometime? I go, sure. And then my dad dropped me off at her house during the day. It's about noon, maybe 3 o'clock, something like that. And we're hanging out in her room, making out a little bit. She's like, you want to go swimming? I go, let's go swimming.
She had a pool, rich girl.
Well, it was an above ground.
Okay. That changes things.
Yeah, I lost my virginity in an above ground pool, baby. Which is
hides a lot though.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
It's harder to tell exactly what you're doing.
For sure. So like we got caught, but it's not like she saw penetration. You know what I mean? But she's
like, I know my daughter though. That bitch
I
fucks.
think she was an experienced woman because here's the thing, I wasn't trying to have sex.
You weren't the first boy in that above ground pool.
100% not, because I'm 15 years old. I've never been inside of a woman before. And so we're in the pool, we're swimming, we're making out, we're touching a little bit. You know, I've done the touch stuff. So maybe a little finger blasting might be happening, you know. She was not nice to my butthole. No, I'm kidding. I was
very advanced. Holy
I was
shit.
the finger blaster in this sitch. And then so we're making out, and then she is like playing with my penis.
Okay, good.
She pulls it out of my shorts. She just takes it and she just puts it right in.
Damn.
And I was like, ah! Like I was freaking out because, you know, I'd never been inside of a vagina before, you know, that's new. And it was exciting and it was a little scary because I was like.
She asked for your consent first, of course.
Well, no, this is the 90s. She took it.
It was the 90s.
Was it the 90s?
2000s? No.
It would have been like 2000.
2000, yeah.
Yeah, maybe 2001.
Yeah.
That's when I would have been 15. So, anyways. So
consent didn't come around till like
2006,
20.
7, 8, 10. It was different. But, you know, she grabbed it. She slammed it in there. And then I was like, oh, my God. And then the whole time I was like, I think she might be pregnant. Like, it was, you know, I don't know any better. I'm stupid. And no, but I'm like kissing her. We're having a good time. We're like making out and having sex for the first time. And then her mom comes outside and she sees us. She goes, get off her. Right? We're making out pretty heavy, you know? I think she just saw us make out.
Were you like, she didn't consent me?
Well, no, I was
Mom?
like, you know, that's what I did. I panicked. Because in my head, I was like, she caught us having sex. I'm about to get beat up or something, you know? Like her dad's home, like there's a whole thing. And so I'm like terrified. And so I do a little kick off the wall, like, oh, just swimming around. My dick's fucking out. I'm like pulling it back in. And then they're like, dinner's ready, guys. And so they bring out all this barbecue and stuff that they had just cooked onto a picnic table outside by the pool. So her little sister comes out, her other little brother, maybe, the mom, the dad, everyone goes, sits at the picnic table. And she's like, let's go eat. And then Kim gets out of the pool, walks over there. And here's the problem is I had just had sex for the first time. I didn't come. So I just started to have sex for the first time. So I was hard as a rock, dude. And I was in a swimsuit.
In the pants? In the top of the... Can you tuck it kind of?
No, you can't tuck it when you don't have a shirt on. It'd just be poking out the top.
If your dick is hard, can you tuck it? Does it hurt to tuck it?
To tuck it up or tuck it down? There was no tucking when you're wearing a swimsuit.
In between the legs?
No, you couldn't have walked like that. That's absurd.
I don't have a dick. I don't know.
An absurd thing to do. And so I was like, she's like, come on and eat. And her mom's like, yeah, come on and eat. The food's good. And I was like, I think I'm just going to do a couple laps and swim for a while. I kind of like the pool. And 30 minutes later, it took about 30 minutes for this fucking thing to go down. Again, the first time you're in something, you're like, you felt nothing like it. So you're just like, you can't stop thinking about it. I'm like swimming, doing laps, trying to think of anything to make me soft.
Also, when you are a guy and you're hard and you have like a fearful, like, you know, sometimes when you're drunk and then like something intense happens and you kind of get sober up real fast. Like, does the same thing happen with your dick sobering up really fast? Like if something is jarring, like you get caught like that, it doesn't kind of wilt a little bit?
Well, not at that age, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
Right now, if someone makes a weird noise, I'm like, I can't do this. Like, it's like, but now it's different, So, but at that age, being in someone for the first time, that thing was not going anywhere, dude. I could have fucking cut diamonds with it. It was wild.
Kim, you dog. I kind of love Kim.
And then I just swam around for a while, and then I don't think me and Kim ever hung out again.
She didn't give a fuck. She got what she needed.
Did not give a fuck.
She went for lunch. She was like, "See ya."
She got food. She got 4 inches. I don't know. I don't really know how big it was back then, and I don't really know. I'm doing all right now, but
probably the same.
Yeah, maybe
close to the same.
I don't feel like my 13-year-old dick was the same as the dick I got now.
I don't. There are certain
Mine
things
is
that
now
always
a little jaded.
grow. I forget what
He's
they
got
are.
A little he's got like some fucking an eye patch and, and some gray sideburns.
I can picture.
And
For some reason, I picture
but
your dick with like a little emo hair on it that, like, it's like,
yeah, that's I straighten my pubes. I use a flat iron
for
my
my across
pubes.
like this on the top of your dick.
No. So that was my first time. It was so traumatic. Didn't do it again for 2 years.
I wasn't traumatized. Like I knew, everybody told me it's like not that great. So I kind of knew it wouldn't feel great.
See, that's the difference between the men and women is you guys are like, oh, it's not going to be great the first time. You're going to, but eventually you'll like it. And then you ever talk to a boy who's had sex for the first time? You're like, it's the fucking coolest thing ever. You got to get in there as fast as you can. What are you, stupid? Go.
I was told that I would feel emotionally good. Like I'd be like, I love you, but I just didn't care at all. And I'm an emotional person.
Did you say I love you the first time?
No, not even remotely. In fact, right after he said, I'm not even joking, right after he goes, it gets better. And I was like, okay, dude, I'm going to my room. Yeah.
Also, that's like, isn't that like the coming out of the closet slogan? Like that's a whole like thing where it's like gay people make videos. They're like, it gets better. Like that's the whole.
Yeah, it was like you could tell he was disappointed in himself. It was a whole thing, but
I get it though.
It wasn't great. And we were like, it's so. I think I'm a decently classy lady, but we were like in an apartment complex off the Strip in Las Vegas after going to Spearmint Rhino. Like it was not a classy.
Yeah, that's not a classy.
We were on a pull-out couch. There were other people in the next room.
Mine was at least a romantic.
In an above ground pool. By the way, that is the most white trash place to lose your virginity.
I will say,
I love it.
I didn't say it, but when she put it in her, I did think, I think I love this girl.
Oh my God.
It's, you can't, when you're that young, you can't really, once there's blood in there, I think it just takes the blood from your brain and then you're like, yeah.
I will say my first love did tell me that he loved me after 2 weeks right after fucking. And I literally was like, you don't have to say that.
Yeah. Like how old? Where was he?
After this. So this was 20s.
Oh, 20s. Okay.
23 or something like that.
I will say when I was in high school, I dated this girl. When I look back at it, first of all, I remember being very much in love with this girl. But
2 weeks in though?
No, it wasn't 2 weeks in. But we probably had sex 3 weeks in. And then she was also allowed to stay at my house. And I was allowed to stay at her house in her room. I don't know who was raising us. This didn't make any sense.
That's kind of
that's
kind of cool.
In like my teens, I had a girlfriend and we had regular sex. And I always look back and go, I wonder how much I was really in love or how much I was just like, oh my God, sex.
There's there could be overlap.
There could be overlap too. And I hope she doesn't listen to this.
Well, I even think now in adulthood, like I have a great relationship, but like if you're not having sex, like if you deeply love someone, but you're not having sex, isn't that just friendship? Like, because there are so many married couples now, it's like the opposite of when we were young. Like I have so many married friends that don't have sex with each other. And it's like, what are you doing?
Well, I think that sometimes you become like kind of partners. I've definitely had partners where the sex fizzled and then we just slowed down and
but then you
Broke up.
ended it. Yeah, it's like then you end it. It feels like
No.
you should be doing that even when you're like,
Yeah, no. I've never really had like a true like, hey, we just stopped having sex together.
either like go to therapy or figure it out, or
Yeah.
like it seems like that's necessary.
I always found that towards the end of a relationship, I would have more sex.
That's fucked up. I don't like that actually.
Well, it's not fucked up. It was consensual.
I know, but
We were fucking each other, and I think we were both just sad, and we're trying to fuck through it.
I don't like it. It makes me
You just
feel,
made me feel bad about.
No, but I was thinking of my own shit about like how right before my breakup we had sex like the day before, and that pisses me off.
Yeah.
Like I feel like no, you don't get that if you want to break up.
Have you ever broken up with one time? One time I won't say their name. We are still friends. Me and this girl dated, and we went to a wedding together. And we had been dating for about a month and a half, and it was we started dating out of spite almost for other people. It was pretty wild.
You're trying to make exes jealous or something?
And this is kind of what happened, right? Is she was seeing someone who treated her like shit, right?
That you knew.
That I knew. And then I was treating her like shit. No. I was casually seeing this person that I liked a lot. Right? And
Ben, what the fuck?
He just died.
Sorry.
Okay.
I was seeing this person that I had a really strong crush on, and like we went out and we started to like hook up and have a good time, and so we hung out a few times, and I was like really crushing on this girl. And then
Something bad's about to happen.
Oh yeah. And then one day the three of us are out, right? And the girl that I start dating in this story, she was upset about a guy who had been treating her like shit. And so anyways, the three of us are all hanging out, and then I, for whatever reason, have to separate from the group. And the girl I was seeing at the time, sorry, it's kind of confusing without using names. It's like, right?
You want to say her name so bad too.
Well,
I feel
I'm trying not to, right?
I feel like you keep catching
Well,
yourself.
she's like, she goes, "Can I get a ride from the other girl?" The other girl gives her a ride, and then she's like, "Where am I taking you?" Anyways, she took her to a guy's house that she had been seeing also while she was seeing me, which is fine. We were her casually seeing.
Yeah, it was
she
like,
did
had
nothing
you guys
wrong.
had a conversation yet about...
No, 100%. But she was like trying to date this guy, and she was also dating me.
And you really liked her.
And I liked her. I just got my feelings hurt. That's all it was, right? So I got my feelings hurt, and then this girl who dropped her off was like, "Hey, I got to come by your house and talk to you." And I go, "What? Okay." And she's like, "Hey, I know you don't want to hear this, but I just dropped her off at this guy's house." And
not really her business, but
well, she was my friend. I think she's just looking out for me. It was, whatever. And so then me and her,
narc.
I know. Then me and her like kind of drank together, and we did not hook up that night. We hooked up like 2 nights later, but we like kind of just got drunk and shit talked them for a while.
And she's still seeing the other dude.
No.
At this time,
it's done.
No, it's done. Okay.
That was done. That's why That's why we were all out together. She was upset.
Okay, well then you could do whatever you want.
Yes, we could do. We were both single adults, and so then we started hooking up, but then we started dating. And we're like boyfriend girlfriend, and it was based off of spite for other people, though.
Yeah.
And so I knew it was doomed for the beginning. So about a month and a half in, we go to a wedding. We have a pretty good time. My biggest complaint with this girl was I like to dance with people that I'm seeing, and she was goth, and I like a goth girl. That's great, but goth girls often do this weird high stepping dance where they don't dance like with other people. They'll dance around other people.
Andrew, get up right now and do what you're talking about.
I couldn't do it in a million years, but it's goofy, and I'm sure
Ben, can you
pull
show
this up.
something?
You can pull this up for sure.
What the fuck is he talking about?
There's a high step dance. They don't dance together, It's not like rave dancing.
High step sounds like river dance. Like it makes me
It's
think of like
you're doing this weird dance. You're doing like this weird like. It's like it's weird, right? And I would always like want to dance with her.
Is it like how a zombie would dance?
It's so fucking weird. I don't know. And anyways, I hated that. And so we come back from the wedding, and I just remember it was in San Antonio. We drove back. We didn't say anything the entire ride back, and we weren't fighting either. It was just like we were out of things to say. I think the spite had worn off, so it wasn't like passionate or whatever. And we get to my house, and we're like laying in the bed. We're kind of like depressed, and I can tell. And I go,
oh, that feeling when you know that it's like, done. Ugh.
This doesn't feel like it's working, right? I said that to her, and she goes, totally doesn't feel like it's working. And I was like, yeah. She's like, do you want to have sex one last time?
That's an agreement. That's different.
And I was like, yeah, let's do that. And then we had sex one last time. We both cried.
That's kind of beautiful.
And then we never relapsed again. We never like had sex again. And we are friends. And I believe they're engaged now.
Oh my God, that's so gay.
What, that we're friends?
No, that you cried. But it's beautiful.
It was depression.
I love it.
We were depressed, and we were sharing a moment of vulnerability.
No, I love it.
And we were nice to each other. And I think it was more of a moment where it was like, hey, we're both depressed right now. We don't dislike each other. This didn't work, but we're both sad and we care about each other.
I love gay things. Like, I just think it's super gay that happened, but that's beautiful. That's
that was fun.
Yeah, like I kind of love that's super honest. That's different than like
what did
fucking
you think
someone fucking some being like, I'm gonna get like 7 more fucks in before I break up with them on Sunday.
No,
you know what I mean?
I've never done that. That's psycho shit.
But
dude.
If you talk about it, if you're
also,
like,
who says I'm gonna get 7 more fucks in? That's crazy.
But I'm just saying, like, you guys knew. Anything out in the open is like good to me. If you guys are both like, hey, let's do this one more time, or like even like angry fucking, if you're like, oh, I'm so pissed, let's just like get it out. Like that's
I did that.
That's different. That's really fun.
It can be.
I think anger fucking is more fun than sad fucking. Sad fucking is like, I don't like to make love, and sad fucking has too much emotion in it. I don't even like love. I don't like making love. I think it's weird and creepy, and I hate it. I've made love once that the making love was like good and intense, and it was like after a period apart. But like, I just think it's creepy.
Well, I think there's a big difference between the two.
Do you look people in the eye when you have sex?
Sometimes.
I don't even. I probably shouldn't say, but I like hate looking even my husband in the eye. I hate it. It's so weird and creepy to me. And I'm like the most open.
How do you think it feels for him?
Can you imagine just like,
no,
you don't blink?
Yeah. I mean, I've definitely looked in the eyes. If I'm looking in the eyes, then I think that usually means I'm liking someone more. And also like we're having a little bit more intense sex.
You have to be deeply in love, I feel like, to do that. And even then, it's weird.
Have to be deeply in love. I think you can, but also, I think there's a couple like I feel like you can love someone at the moment. Like I know that sounds a little weird. Love is a harder word, and I don't want to say lust. But there can be moments. Yes, I get. But there can be people can have moments or like days or like times when they're like, I love this person. Like we're having a moment where it's like it feels like love, and maybe lust is the right word. Lust feels to me is like it's just purely sexual though. But I feel like there's been times where I'm like at the moment, yes, but maybe not.
Because so for me, love means trust, and I don't trust
anybody,
any bitch except for my bitch.
Your dog that died.
My husband.
Oh.
I didn't mean to call my husband my bitch. He's not. He's definitely not. But you know what I mean. I don't trust.
Would you peg him?
I trust no bitches.
If he asked?
I'm not joking. I'm not as much of an ass person as you, but I've desperately tried to
Peg him.
He has the nicest butt. It's
So you want to peg him?
It's so good. I don't want to peg him, but I want to.
You just want to rip that ass open.
I want to put my finger in there. Just even it doesn't have to get so intense. I'll start small. I want to put my finger in there, or just like around it or near it, and I think he especially doesn't like it because it's not like, for me, it's a little bit less sexual and more like comedic. I just really want to put my finger near there. And he really doesn't think it's funny.
Well, that's the thing, though. If you really wanted to do it, right? You can't do it. It can't be a joke because then he's gonna feel stupid the whole time.
But I can't help but like laugh about it. But I really want to do it. I genuinely want to do it. No shame. Like, we know each other intensely. I just really want to put my finger in there. But I do. Let you have it. I do think it's hilarious.
But honestly, looking at your fingers, they don't look like they would.
There's not what? There's not much.
They're like sharp, like your knuckles stick out.
That is true.
You're very bony.
I'm bony, which I found out is an issue with my feet
you
too.
have anal beads for fingers.
But wouldn't that feel good? People buy those.
I've never put anal beads in my body before.
I feel like people write in if you're a butt person. I feel like people pay a premium for that. This is like the perfect butt finger.
This episode has been all sex.
It has been all sex. Let's
horny.
We were
talking
about Thanksgiving. Yeah.
And now we're talking about Thanksgiving.
It is. I will say, vacation sex is fun.
Wasn't great.
Yeah. No.
Why are we talking about sex again? Here's the thing. Everyone is jerking off to this episode, dude.
All right.
There's a reason Ben hasn't shown up on the camera yet.
All right, everybody.
Ben's always chiming in, but
knowing
not this episode.
Knowing the people that listen, let's talk about what you're really interested. Yes, Javier Milei did win the presidency of Argentina, the first libertarian head of state in the history of the world.
Let's talk about sex again. Well, I'm so bored with this.
People say he's far right. People say he's a Trumper, but he is not. He's totally different. I'm very excited about it. I think it's fascinating.
Oh my God. Can I share something? This is gonna make me hated. People are not gonna like what I'm about to say. I know. I'm almost scared to say it. I listened to a podcast recently. I listen to Theo Vaughn's podcast pretty regularly. I like him. He cracks me up. And he had a guest on it where I was like, first of all, going in, I was like, I hate this guy. I know I'm going to dislike this guy, but I'll listen to the episode and see how it goes. By the end of the episode, I kind of like Tucker Carlson. I don't know what happened. Listen to the episode. It's so hard. He's likable on the episode. And yes, listen, I don't really like him, but he was very likable on that episode. And it was interesting. And there are things that you end up
clip it.
I know. God, maybe
clip
cut it. I don't know.
Don't.
No,
just say,
no. Yeah.
Here's the thing. There are people in this world. Did you watch the WeWork?
It was first of all, it was
WeWork.
I would like anyone to listen to that episode and then let me know what they think about it. Because at first I wanted to go in there and hate him. And then after listening to him, he's got some solid points.
Listen.
No, just he's more, he's one of those people he doesn't want anyone to tell him what to do ever. And that's his main thing.
It's awesome. I do think that in a person I really like. Anybody who's very much an individual and strongly believe in what they believe in. It's not everybody has to agree with you 100%.
I know, I'm kidding.
There are those people who are they lean towards icky, but they're so charismatic. And the WeWork dude is an example of that. If you watch that documentary,
I have not. What's WeWork? Is that the
WeWork,
Uber one?
WeWork is those co-working spaces.
Oh, okay.
And the guy who started WeWork, one of the biggest ones, there are various different kinds of co-working spaces, but WeWork is all over the world. And the guy who started that, so there's the documentary and then there's the Netflix show, which is also great. Anne Hathaway plays his wife. She's so unlikable and she plays it, chef's kiss, so good. And Jared Leto plays the guy. But in real life, I watched a bunch of his interviews after I watched the TV show.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. So he ended in disgrace. WeWork lost, it was worth billions and millions of dollars and lost all of its value, especially during COVID. Nobody was going into offices. I mean, he lost so much money. It's insane. his investors were pissed, whatever. But like now he like lives in Florida with his family and he's starting some new thing and he's already raised hundreds of millions of dollars despite all of this shit that he went through before. And it's because if you listen to him in interviews, he is wildly self-confident. It's opposite of comedians. He like never doubts himself. He's so charismatic. And no matter what he's done in the past, you watch an interview with him for 10 minutes and you're like, I kind of like this dude. And
Gotcha.
he's like not necessarily a good dude. And you know all this other shit that he's done and like basically lied to investors. But it's just like because he doesn't consider himself lying. Like he truly believes in himself. Like, oh, anything I lost, I'm going to make back because I'm amazing. And this is meant to be. And like, his intentions seem genuinely good. I don't know. There are those weird people out there who are like extremely charismatic and they have this thing where agree with them or not, you kind of like them. And I think that Tucker Carlson is one of those guys who like stands up to the network, stands up to this and that. He's just himself. So like him or don't like him, he's true to himself.
I will say that was one of the things that I was like, he's like, I really don't care what other people think about me. I just do, whatever. I was like, that's kind of cool because, I care what everyone thinks all the time. It's sad. But the other thing I will say, because I've seen him on different actual news stations and stuff where I'm like, dude, this guy is awful. Like just see him going in on people. I'm like, you're just trying to get a ride. Like I've seen that side of it. And that's what I knew before this podcast I listened to. And so that's why I was like, this guy stinks. And at first I was like, why would you even have him on the podcast? And then I listened to the podcast and it made me be like, oh, a lot of this is just, and he's literally doing this for entertainment value.
Or
like,
stuff is just edited and maybe you listen to an unedited.
And when he's not getting when he's not like poking at people and like calling people stupid or whatever, and he's just talking to a guy on a comedy podcast, he was funny. He had so many good points and no one's ever going to talk to me that's liberal.
Listen,
my friend,
people don't get
again.
to that point for no reason. So this is what you said. You didn't say you like this guy. The thing is, and that's what sucks about like the modern world of like little clips and little things. I mean, we do it too, but people.
Wait, we put out clips?
People are complicated. People are complicated. People aren't good or bad. We're all fucking in the middle. But I will say, do you think that there's something to be said for a person being like charismatic and confident when they have gotten like enough success or fame or whatever that they don't care anymore? That automatically makes them more confident. Because I went and saw Tim Dillon at the Improv, and I'd gone to see Tim Dillon at the Improv right before COVID, I think, with the same group of dudes. And I remember leaving there and them saying like they didn't really like the show a few years ago. And then them leaving this show being like, he's a genius. And I think, and he got a lot of like fame and money and therefore I think confidence in himself in the interim. And I think just having like enough comfort in your life makes you naturally more confident.
I think, definitely you're going to get more confidence with more power and success. You're right.
Comfort, money, safety.
And, I think I also think sometimes.
By the way, Tim's amazing, but I think those things help.
Yeah. I also think sometimes once you've had that and then you lose that, a lot of people there are really confident too. Like once they've lost it all, like essentially they start all over, right? Like, I think there's something to that even.
Who are you thinking of? You had someone in your mind.
Well, no, in this, even we were talking about Tucker Carlson. He got all of his shows, everything canceled, and now he's just on Twitter. He's making a ton of fucking money on Twitter, and he does his own show and doesn't fucking. He's like, I can do whatever I want now. It doesn't matter. I'm my own boss. There's no one.
It's fucking awesome.
No one gives a shit. I'm not gonna watch the show.
Why not?
I don't watch fucking shows like that.
You can watch things. You can listen to people you disagree with. You can watch things you disagree with. In fact, it's probably good. Learn about people different from you. It's okay. You don't have to just read shit you already agree with. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
War movies and I watch porno.
And by war movies, he means more porno.
No, I watch a ton of I don't know what's going on with me right now, but in the last 6 months, I rewatched Band of Brothers, The Pacific, Saving Private Ryan, All Quiet on the Western Front, old one, the new one. I just watched what's it called? It was a really good miniseries on Netflix called the light you can't see, or like
All the light you cannot see.
Yeah, all the light you cannot see. That was great. It wasn't as like brutal of a war movie, you know.
He also reads books.
I read some books, audio books.
He does math for fun.
I do like math.
He plays chess.
I don't play chess. I'm a checkers guy. I have chess on my phone, but I lose. I'm pretty bad at it. I'm not smart.
You should
chess.
play. Jeremy's addicted. He plays chess all the time. I
don't
used to be on.
Lose. You know that dynamic be so weird. I just lose to your husband all the time. It's like a weird cucking.
It'd be hilarious to me.
I don't want to be cucked by your fucking. Next thing I know, you're pegging me.
I'm cucked by him all the time. I actually used to be on chess club, and I was really fucking good. But it's been a really long time, and I don't play anymore. And he kicked my ass in Scrabble, but I feel like now I could best him in Scrabble.
Maybe one day you can join Chest Club.
No,
I'm some boobs.
It's never happening. And you know what? I feel really good about it. I feel good about it. I was like on the beach, and I was like being very. You know what I saw on the beach a bunch is women who were extremely ripped. And I was like, I could go to the gym 7 days a week. And by the way, I'm going to tell you guys something that Andrew promised he was going to do with me, and it's going to be funny, and we will put it on the Patreon, and you are going to do it, you and Jesse James.
I'm not sure.
But I will never look like that. Like I could never, if I worked out 2 hours a day, my genetics, like 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, I would never be that ripped. It's just never going to happen. So like part of you.
Same for me, except for I'm not going to work out.
Don't you just feel like you just want to be happy? Also, like, I look at people like that and I'm like, are you enjoying your life? I want to like they weren't drinking alcohol. They're on the beach in Mexico not drinking alcohol. That's how controlled their life is. Is that fun for you?
The beach is fun.
What is wrong with you?
I love a beach. I could just hang out by a beach all day. I know I don't seem like a beach guy, but god damn, give me a beach.
I'm too high anxiety in the past to ever hang out at the beach, but I noticed like with COVID and then like getting older and like family dying and like dogs dying, and it's a lot easier for me to just like, I can't do it for more than like 3 days, but I can relax on the beach for 3 days.
I could do
it
every day of my life. When I retire, whenever that may be, I will be on a body of water.
Yeah, the ocean, it's the best. Like hearing
I like
that.
lakes a little bit more, but
the waves.
But
the
I do
waves
love
crashing is the best way to sleep.
It is nice. I used to do mushrooms and just sit by a lake and listen to the and then go back out.
It's
and then
the most
and there's
peaceful
some wind
thing.
chimes, and then I'd be all like, ooh.
Do that noise you just did again for the listeners.
That's pretty good, huh?
That
I don't know
was
why I'm doing
pretty
the hand
good.
thing. I was just doing a hand thing.
I honestly wanted you to keep going. That's how good it was.
I'm not very good at impressions, but
that was good.
it wasn't that bad.
It sounded like a wave, right, Ben?
A little windy wave. Nice.
Can you put something in here
I don't know if
didn't
Ben knows
sound
how to
good?
do this. He couldn't even find the high step goth dance.
I really want to see you do that.
I don't know how to.
Okay, when I was talking about working out, it's because you are coming to my workout. You already agreed to it. You're going to come do it with me this week. You are not going to wait.
It's not this week.
Yeah. It's got to be this week.
I'm pretty busy this week.
That's exactly.
I'm on tour.
You're always busy.
I'm on tour.
You're always on tour.
What are you? So I'm going to be somewhere. You think I'm going to fly in to do hot yoga or something?
It's 50 minutes. You have time to do 50 minutes.
When?
One time this week.
No, I don't.
Yes, you do.
I won't be here in town.
Actually, talk about your last weekend.
Talk
about your last weekend in Austin. And then talk about what you're doing this week, because I want to know. You were in Austin with Sean Patton.
Austin was fun, but it was not that eventful, actually. Although, I got a grievance with Austin, Texas. Too much human shit on the sidewalk. It's disgusting.
Yeah.
It's driving me nuts. There used to be a cleaner town, and now there's human shit everywhere. And you're like, oh, Andrew, how do I know it's human shit? Well, let me tell you, I saw it wrapped in toilet paper on the sidewalk, which is crazy because that means someone was like, I got to shit so bad, I got to find a bathroom. They went into a bathroom. They grabbed the toilet paper, and they're like, this place fucking sucks. I'm going to do it outside. That's crazy, dude.
What you got right there was a gift because usually in Austin, Texas, you see the human shit happening as it's coming out.
I can't do it. I the shows were, we did a couple shows. One was solid show. The other one was one of the hardest bombs I've had in so long. It's 20 minutes, 15 of it. These motherfuckers are just staring at me like this. And I'm like, what is going on?
Can we say where it was?
Yeah, the Creek in the Cave. I lost my shit on the audience. I lost it. I literally go, I stop.
That's
after
always
after I
fun
do a
for
joke.
everyone. That really lifts it back up.
But actually, I did well for the last 5 minutes because of it. Yeah, everyone laughed. We had a good time after that.
You had to break the ice.
I hadn't lost it on an audience like this in a long time. They just were like, they'd give you a little chuckle. The host went up and he did not have a great set. And then I go up and they'd give you a little chuckle and then nothing. And then I'd do like jokes that work everywhere. And they would just like go, no reaction at all. Right. And I'm like, just going. I'm not feeling bad about myself because I've been up there. I've bombed before.
We're numb.
I know how to do all that shit, And I also know I'm about to film a special and I know these jokes fucking work. Like I've done these jokes everywhere, right? And so I'm up there just getting nothing. And then finally, I little snap happens in me. I go, are you guys fucking retarded? I said that. And then they're like, whoa. And I go, normally, guys, I love comedy. It's my favorite thing to do. Tonight, this is the worst thing I've ever done. I don't know what's going on. I was like, you guys don't like me, and I don't like you.
And I love Tucker Carlson.
No, but I was like, and I don't like you guys. Like, I don't like any of this. I don't know what the fuck is happening here, but this is not fun for anybody. Laugh, motherfuckers. And then they're all laughing at this point because I'm like ranting like an angry lunatic. And then I start doing jokes, and then they're all laughing at full speed again. And I was like, I should have yelled at him 2 minutes in because I did 15 minutes of just like, the only laugh I could hear was the host Mike in the back of the room laughing at my jokes. And they were giving me nothing until finally I yelled at him. I called him a bunch of names and was like, I hate you. I love comedy, but you guys are ruining every moment of this for me. And then fucking finally I get him at the end after yelling at him, but they just were, it was the weirdest fucking crowd, man. It was so strange. It's Black Friday, late. It was pretty nuts, man. But
it takes skill, I feel like, as a comic to like feel what's going on in the room like quickly. I feel like that's like a learned thing.
I knew what was going on, but I thought I was going to break
it is also scary. Like I feel like at newer comics, like sometimes it's hard to, even if you feel it, acknowledging it can be scary too sometimes. So good for you for doing that, but fuck them also.
But the weekend before...
But we love you and please keep coming to live comedy.
The weekend before, I was in Michigan with TJ Miller, having a good time. What a fun guy to hang out with.
He seems great.
What a sweetheart. It was such a weird town, all white people.
Oh, I saw you did you do a polar plunge?
We did it was called a my sauna. It was like a traditional sauna thing where what you do is you'd sit in this hot sauna, you'd sweat your ass off, and then you would go jump in Lake Michigan. It was 38 degrees, and then you go back in, and you just go back and forth. And we did that, and we posted some photos of it. We just looked like two beached whales. We looked like two handsome ladies. Like we were not looking good.
It's like my nightmare. You feel sick after that?
I felt a little like shaky and stuff. It was cool though. It was fun. It was exhilarating. It hurt. The water, like the hot to cold was like, oh, my knees are hurting, but it's really good for you and all that stuff. But it was a lot of fun. But this was the weirdest part of one of the weirdest clubs I'd ever been to. It's kind of like an old Mexican restaurant. It felt like, I won't say the name of it, but it was fun though. The owner, Stuart, was a goofball. He was fun. He did time on the last show, which was something. And and this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Is so the first day, that's what it was. First show, first day, right? I go there, I see TJ, we meet at the venue, blah blah blah. We hug, we talk, we say hi. This guy walks up to me and he goes, "Hey man, just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Mike. Sorry, I smell like peanut butter." And I was like, "All right." He goes, "I hope you're not allergic." And I was like, "What the fuck is going on right here?" You know? And and then he just goes and sits down. And then the first show happens. Great show, good time. And then the second show is happening. And I'm about to get called up. And then they call up this Mike guy. And so no one told me this Mike guy was doing a guest spot. I just thought he was a random dude. And so he goes up. Apparently, he was an intern at a radio show that TJ did a radio show earlier in the week to help advertise the shows. They're all sold out, you know? So he was an intern who does stand-up comedy. And TJ, he goes up on stage, not TJ, Mike.
Peanut butter Mike.
Peanut butter Mike. And he rips off his shirt. And he's covered in peanut butter. His whole chest covered in peanut butter.
I don't hate it.
And he didn't even just like unbun it. He ripped it where the buttons went flying. Right? And then he does comedy, and it's the weirdest fucking comedy I've ever seen. He does an E.T. impression, a E.T. getting peanut butter out of a cabinet impression. And then he goes, "This is not all the peanut butter I have on me. I've got more." And he takes off his socks, and his feet were covered in peanut butter. And he's like, "This full peanut butter, dude. This guy's full on peanut butter, and he's doing comedy." And so I come to find out the way he got on the show, and TJ was just making a joke at the radio station. And he says something along the lines like, "Hey, if you cover yourself in peanut butter, I'll let you do some time." It was like a joke. And then the guy showed up covered in peanut butter, and TJ's like, "Well, I got to give him 5 minutes."
I was just about to say, like, that, a dude like that seems like a guy who would be on TJ's show.
Oh,
like on a TJ Miller.
weird.
Because TJ's like a goofball.
Yeah, of course. He's a goofy, funny, awesome dude. But the weirdest thing about the peanut butter guy is I met him on the first show at 7:00, and he smelled like peanut butter, right? And he sat at the table next to me, smelling like peanut butter, and just watched the show, laughed normally, right? And then the second show is when he goes up, and then he put on his clothes and he watched the rest of the show. Then he said goodbye. He drove there in peanut butter socks and peanut butter body. And he sat through the whole first show covered in peanut butter with just peanut butter in his feet and toes. And he just sat there and laughed like a normal fucking audience member with peanut butter in his toes. And that's the craziest thing I can think. Why didn't he just put on peanut butter in the bathroom stall right before? He'd been sitting in peanut butter for 6 hours, dude.
Maybe it felt kind of good.
That is crazy.
Maybe he tested it out earlier and he was like, "This is who I am now."
That is crazy. I just realized we're in an hour already, and we haven't even taken a question.
Oh.
Yeah, I think we're running out of time, guys.
All right. Well,
All right.
let's get some advice going.
Yeah, too bad I picked a really long one. You ready?
Oh.
Well,
Well, we like details.
Yeah, you'll like this one. Okay. A few years ago, when my girlfriend was still in college and I was already working, I let her borrow $3,000 over the span of 2-ish years because she was struggling a bit financially and grew up pretty poor. I had the financial freedom to be able to let her borrow that money at the time. I told her she could wait until she starts working to pay me back. Fast forward to a couple years later, she's had a stable job for about 1.5 years now, making about 65 to 75K per year, but still has made no effort to pay me back. Every time I ask, she says she doesn't have the money to pay me back yet. Meanwhile, she's been making pretty big purchases, Louis Vuitton bags around $2,000. So to me, it seems like she has the money to pay me back, but just doesn't want to yet. While I don't necessarily need the $3,000 as I have a stable job, this feels wrong to me, and I can't help but feel like what she's doing is very wrong. Every time I bring up how I feel, she always brushes it off. Says she's not in the mood to talk about it and says she's already told me she doesn't have the money to pay me back. At this point, it's not really about the money to me as much as it is about feeling taken advantage of. I think we have pretty different perspectives. If I lent someone that money, I would prioritize paying them back ASAP, while she argues that she lets her family borrow money all the time and she doesn't care when they pay her back or what they're buying, etc. How do I approach this situation and what can I do for her to understand why I feel like this is wrong? She just doesn't seem to get my perspective.
Man, this one hits close to home for me.
Yeah, I was like, you take this.
I had a very similar situation, and you know what happened is I let it get into my. I grew angry, and I got upset, and I felt taken advantage of, and I didn't handle it well because of that. And what I learned about that situation, and I don't think some people will agree with me here. I talked to a friend of mine post that, and I told him like how I felt taken advantage of and stuff. And I will say this guy, he has more money than me, but he told me, he goes, I told myself I will never let money make me feel a way about somebody, or I'll never let money get in between me and a girl, and that should never be an issue. And so, and I never really thought about it like that because I was upset. And one of the reasons I was upset is because it never got acknowledged, the fact that she wasn't paying me back.
Yeah, but
Or
you
wasn't
know why your
pulling her-
friend said that to you?
Huh?
You know why your friend
Why?
said that to you?
Yeah.
Because he was like, yeah, I could loan a girl money, but I'm still going to get 7 more fucks in before. I mean, honestly, but all joking aside, like, were you still having sex with this girl?
We were living together.
Once you were, yeah. I mean, did you talk to her about feeling this way? Why don't people just talk?
Well,
people don't say how they're feeling, and that's the root of every problem.
They do, and I did let myself
get your dick sucked after that.
Well, that has nothing to do with anything.
But it kind of does.
I was going down on her.
Yeah,
so was it? So
but it kind of does though, because like,
oh, as long as I'm getting my dick sucked, then
honestly,
money doesn't matter.
The transactional shit.
It's not transactional.
It is transactional at that point when you're feeling pissed and not saying anything.
Crazy.
No.
Also,
My point is,
say anything.
my point is,
you're so
people
wrong
don't
on this
say
one.
anything, and then they still let the relationship go on as normal. Like, I wouldn't be, if I was feeling some type of way, I wouldn't. The other parts of the emotional relationship would not be able to go on. I don't understand how it's usually men, but men and women can just go on normally in a relationship for days, weeks, months, letting this shit slide. I get how you're feeling, but I'm just saying, like, my point, I'm being a little like crass with the transactional thing with men, because I feel like they'll still let that shit happen when they're feeling some type of way. I wouldn't be able to do anything normal in a relationship.
If you're mad at your husband, you guys are not having sex.
And it's not just sex; it's everything emotional, like date, whatever.
Pretty crazy.
We're not going to do shit until we talk this out. I don't feel normal.
I've been mad at somebody I've been dating,
and you go out on a date.
Yeah.
No.
I've been upset and been like, I can still hang out with you because I still love you.
Or cuddle. No, I don't want to cuddle while I'm feeling like you.
Oh no, I'll make a couple little stabby jokes, but
yeah, like,
but no.
You have to acknowledge
it. Yeah, first of all, I acknowledged it in this, right? This guy doesn't seem like it. Well, he says he's acknowledged it, but they don't see eye to eye on it, right?
Or she says she doesn't want to talk about it and brushes it off. Well, I'd be like, well, then this is what a relationship is working through this stuff.
But I did let myself get angry and mad about it. And what I've learned, and I would not loan somebody money that as soon as I loaned it to him, I just assume that I'm not going to get it back. That way I won't be upset by it. And also I don't want my relationship to be affected by it. And that's kind of how I feel about it now. I don't want it to get in the way of a good thing just because money's a tough thing and a lot of people don't know how to use it. I still have a hard time with it. And especially when you grew up poor, you grew up without things. So, people have different money skills and they don't know how to, they don't know how to save. They don't know how to spend. They don't know, they fucking waste their money. I get it. But I don't think anyone should loan anyone money. You shouldn't loan anyone money that you aren't okay with parting with. Yes, they should pay you back.
But a relationship is different than some other things. I think anything outside of a romantic relationship, like I've been in all kinds of circumstances with this, and I feel like if it's not either you have to consider it like this is going to be a gift and I'm going to let this go, or you have something in writing. Like, I know that that's not romantic or whatever, or it seems very.
But the writing thing's not going to.
But with friends,
you're in a relationship.
No, I'm not saying in a relationship. Outside of a romantic relationship, friendship, for example, either give someone money as a gift and don't expect anything in return, and don't expect not even just the money back, but don't expect, like, it shouldn't be tit for tat. Like, if you are giving something to a friend and they don't like say thank you, or they're not grateful enough. I grew up with money. So my mom was very much this way. Her friendships, people around her, she would take somebody on a trip with our family, a very fancy trip, pay everything. And then she was pissed that they weren't showing her enough gratitude. And it wasn't even about paying the money back. She felt like they owed her something emotionally, and that's fucked up. Yeah. Like, I think it's terrible to hold that over someone's head. So I think if you can truly give money and you have the ability to do that, you have to either consider it a gift or completely opposite direction, have something legally in writing. But in a romantic relationship, it is different. I've been in a long-term relationship. I grew up with money. My husband grew up very poor. We have loaned each other money based on different circumstances at different times. And it's the most uncomfortable of all the conversations, arguments, disagreements we've ever had. It sucks. It sucks to talk about. It's uncomfortable to talk about. I'm a spoiled brat. He is the opposite of that. He has really held me to account on my shit. It's so uncomfortable, but like, you're ultimately going to be better for it. So you, sir, have to, when she says she doesn't want to talk about it, say, too bad, we need to talk about it. I feel some type of way about it, and learn from that experience and be like, okay, if she can't pay you back, fine. Tell her I'm not loaning you money again. I don't know. I feel like you have to just like put it all out
tough.
there.
The wallet is the most sensitive bone in the body. That's what I heard once. And I was like, that's totally true. Like, it's tough. Money is a tough thing to talk about.
Well, it's tied to your emotions. You said it wasn't just about the money. You also felt taken advantage of. That's a shitty feeling. 100%.
And so I do understand what this guy is going through. And as someone who's been through that, I think I would have tried less to focus on that. Yeah, because I know that at least the person I was with, I know that they were kind of embarrassed, and that's why we didn't talk about it that much. They were embarrassed about it. And so there's a little bit of that too. And so,
it's one of the hardest things to say.
I don't think they handled it well on my end. I don't think they handled it well, but I also know I did not handle it well. And I know that it was one of the biggest reasons that we ended a pretty long relationship. It's because of the way we handled that, not because of the money. It was just because of the way we handled the me feeling taken advantage of, her not communicating, me not communicating how much I was really kind of feeling, because especially when there's money involved, it's not just that you feel taken advantage of sometimes. You feel like you're just being used. You can feel that way. And that's almost worse. I know that sounds the same as being taken advantage of, but to me, it's a little bit different. Because you can take advantage of somebody, but there's a difference when you feel you're like, this person's just using me. Like, they're like,
with love,
I don't actually think this person likes me.
Be with you no matter what.
Yes.
Yes.
but this can get in the way of that. And me and this person loved each other very much so. And because of this, us not communicating well enough in this situation, we ruined it. Both of us
Especially
did.
early on in a relationship, you don't want anything that's going to make you doubt that the person really loves
Yeah.
you.
How long were they together, Ben? Year and a half? Did I read
a little
that?
more than that because she'd been working a year and a half.
Oh, yeah.
It said it happened a few years ago.
Okay, yeah. So they've been
That's
together a long
term.
time. Yeah. See, that's the thing, because I was like, we were on like almost year 3 when all that went down, and so it was pretty tough.
On the opposite end, as someone who has more of a problem spending, I will say embarrassment is one of the hardest emotion, or I don't know if it's like this for everyone, but I do think feeling humiliated or embarrassed by yourself is one of the hardest things to admit on the other side.
Yeah. So,
Like, I absolutely love and adore and respect my person, but when I'm embarrassed by my behavior, it's really it is even more humiliating to admit that I'm embarrassed by my own actions. Like, I feel for she's probably embarrassed. It strikes me by what he's saying that she says she doesn't want to talk about it, and she's making these excuses like, oh, would she just give money? But it's not about that. It's not about what she'd do. He's telling her how he feels, and she's ignoring it.
yeah.
And the truth is, she's embarrassed, and it sounds like they might be young, maybe, and I find it really fucking hard to admit when I'm ashamed of myself. And yeah, I feel like that takes just time and like growth to admit that shit. Money stuff is really hard. But she also like, I mean, if she's really buying the Louis bag was very damning.
That is a thing that really bothered me is like,
yeah,
like
that
they go get their
struck me.
like nails done, and then I'd be like, they're like, oh, I spent like $200 to get my nails done, and I'm like,
especially if you're both struggle. Like I mean, maybe he said what her salary was, which like he had a big range. I was like, which is it? That's different, but. Maybe she has debts to pay off.
Yeah, for sure. We don't know all the details of this, but it does sound like some communication might fix this thing. But I don't know. I think
if you feel disrespected regularly and she's buying like Louis bags, then maybe it's time for you to think about being with somebody. I mean, if there's a pattern of not being willing to grow and change, some people change, some people are willing to talk. If not, like. Maybe you just chalk up the $3,000 as a loss and move on to someone who's not going to spend another, however much of your money going forward in your life. I mean, this could become a pattern if this woman becomes like your wife or whatever.
For sure. That's a tough one. You guys are fucked.
You live and learn. I think like you got to just, I know it's $3,000 is a lot, but like you got to just.
$3,000 is a lot, but also. In the grand scheme of things, it's not that much. Like
in the grand scheme
especially when you're talking about a relationship you've been going on for years and years, you're gonna let a few grand really, you know what I mean? Like,
it sounds like
if you've been happy with someone, I'm just gonna assume that they're happy. Aside from this, right? They didn't say anything else otherwise, so I'm gonna assume you guys are happy. Other than that, $3,000 is not. If I was in a happy relationship and someone walked up to me and was like, hey, I'll give you $5,000 if you leave your partner, I would be like, no, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's not about the money though. It's like you're not going to have long-term success in a relationship if you can't talk about money. You have to be, it sucks to talk about. I still hate, it's my least favorite thing to talk about to this day with my person, but like you have to, it's not going to be long-term with this person if you can't talk about this stuff.
Yeah.
Right, Ben?
So give it a talk.
True.
Let's plug some stuff and get the out of here.
Well, the most exciting thing I'm doing, actually, I've gotten so many offers for, like, I feel like the holidays are slower for shows for me. Mm-hmm. But every offer I've gotten lately, I feel like, is on the date of your special. So just FYI, I'm prioritizing
you can
because you're
take a couple if
important.
you want.
You're important.
You don't
to
have
me.
to do every show. You can.
That's not what I want you to say. Are you dumb?
I appreciate it.
I want you to say you desperately want me to do every show.
Jamie, please, every show. Oh my God.
Beg me to do the shows. But no, I am very excited, genuinely. Please, you guys buy tickets to Andrew's special taping. It's Friday?
First of all, right now, this will be running to when this comes out. It's a Cyber Monday deal, but I'm extending it to Wednesday. 25% off. Use the code CYBER because I thought that was funny because it reminded me of old sex thing. And anyways, CYBER, 25% off. Saturday's almost sold out. Friday could use a little work, but it's going to sell out. I feel pretty confident. We got 2 weeks left. Friday, Saturday, December 8th and 9th. Please come. So many people, surprise guests, some of my best friends in the whole world. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have an after party on Saturday night at the old Dirt Bar, which is like 2 blocks away from the Secret Group. All this is a Secret Group. If you listen to this and you're from Houston, please come. Or if you're in just Texas or you want to come travel, come on down, please. And then I got a ton of gigs coming up. Some of them are more important than others. But I'll be at Hyenas December 3rd, headlining in Dallas, Texas. And then I will be in the Velve December 7th in Austin, Texas. And then I'm going to Lake Jackson. I'm going to Lake Charles. I'm going to New Orleans December 1st. These are all headlining gigs. Please come out and say hi. If you can't make the special, at least you'll get to see me work on it over the next 2 weeks.
And come to Solid Core in Houston, and he's going to do 50 minutes of a workout with me.
Not this week.
And yeah, follow me at the Jamie Rowan on Instagram.
At No Youngblood, and then at the Mess Hall Pod. And give us a call at 832-744-9492. Give us your problems, your insecurities, just your opinions on whale tails. We'll take anything. Give us a shot. We like to hear your voice. The emails are fun, but I like a voice.
Yeah, we won't. If you call and leave a voicemail, we'll shower you with love, and then we'll make you laugh. We won't be mean. But if you write in or you send us an Instagram message, we'll tear you apart.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.
Bye.